One of the biggest advancements in Drupal 8 is its REST First initiative. Now, what this is a concept of using one data source to power multiple applications. For example, Drupal has developed itself around the idea of maybe porting out your newsfeed to be then later consumed by a mobile application. And these applications are native Android and iPhone applications, but they're using the data from our Drupal website to get their source. They've even designed it in such a way that you don't even have to use Drupal's native display engine to display the data. You may actually just use Drupal to create and store nodes and information, and then use some other system such as AngularJS or React to display the data. Drupal has really become indifferent about what is consuming their data and creating systems that allow those applications to consume that data. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the all-new Drupal 8 REST First module suite, as they've provided us with quite a bit for consuming this data. Now, we're also going to look at how to actually work with these modules a little bit, as it can be a bit confusing. And then we're going to use views at the very end to create a couple of REST APIs that we could use to be consumed by some other application. So let's say that we decide we want to turn our website into a mobile application. However, we don't want to have to maintain several different databases worth of the same information. We just want to add our content to our website and then use that data to populate our mobile application. Well, Drupal is now shipping out with a REST-first mindset that allows us to do this quite easily. Let's come over here to our Extend tab. We're going to scroll all the way to the bottom of this list. And we can see that we have several different web services that we can use from Drupal. Let's just go ahead and turn them all on. In order to simplify our REST applications and our exports, there's a useful module that we can download for Drupal 8 that will expose a front-end visual system for us to configure these things that doesn't necessarily ship out with Drupal core. And that module is called REST UI. So what we're going to do is we're going to come up here and we're going to search Google for REST UI. It should be the first in the list here. We're going to scroll down and we're going to download this module. We're then going to navigate to our downloads folder and we're going to extract the REST UI module. Then going to head into our website. We're going to head into our modules and we're just going to place that in there. We can close all this down. So let's come back to our Extend tab, all the way back down at the bottom. We should now see the REST UI module. We can turn that on. Once the REST UI module has been turned on, we can navigate to Configuration, Web Services, and we have a new option here called REST. If we click on that, that's going to take us to a page where we can specify all of the different RESTful actions and resources that we can have. So let's click Edit on Content. And now this page is going to specify all of the different HTTP verbs that we can use and authentication providers and things like that we can use to consume data from our website. So, for example, we can accept JSON requests, and we can do basic authentication, and we can turn on a lot of these different features, and then we can consume our data using different APIs that we create. Now, there's also a way through views to consume data using Drupal. And what we're going to do is we're going to navigate back to Structure, Views, and back into our News view here. And if all you're looking to do is create a basic feed and not some sort of API that taps into the back-end system and consumes all of those different RESTful actions, Although you could, and it may be a more secure way to do things, especially if you need some form of authentication. From here, we can simply add a feed or a REST export. Now, a feed's going to come out more as an RSS feed, whereas our REST export is going to use some of those different configuration settings that we've set up. Now, in order for this to work, we do have to specify a path. So what we're going to do is we're going to just call this news/export, and then we'll apply that. And now we can see here that we have a JSON feed of all of the different content that's within our specified filter criteria. And here you can see that we are using some of the serialization settings and that we're showing the entity. And if we click this, we can modify this and we can change it to fields. And then what it's going to do if we change this to fields is allow us to specify custom names for each of the fields that we have in our export. So for example, we may not want to consume the image as field image, we just may want to call it image. And view node, we just may want to call link. And then we can apply all of that to the display. And what that's going to do is come down here and change field image to image, and it's going to also modify the link as well. Now that we're using fields, we can also specify different things like comments to come through and the like. So if we save this view, and then we navigate in our browser to news/export, we're going to see that we're brought to the page that is simply the JSON output of our fields and content. And now we can take this JSON feed, which will automatically update itself every time we add a new article or make a content change. And then we can consume that data from a mobile app, gaming app, whatever it is that we're building. And we now have a way of either tapping in directly through some sort of API that we've created using the REST and the REST UI module, or simply by consuming this data feed that we've output through views. Now, there is a lot more that can be done with all of this RESTful API items that ship out with Drupal. However, this is just kind of like a brief overview to get your hands wet and get a little dirty into this and learn about how we can now send data out of Drupal instead of just putting data in. So let's do a quick summary here of what we've covered in this particular section. We've taken a look at Drupal content types and how to work with them. We've learned how to expand our website's functionality using extensions or modules. We've taken a look at placing blocks into different block regions on our website. We've created contact forms. We dove into one of the most powerful modules on Drupal, which is the Views module. And then we've also leveraged the contextual filter system within the Views module to create dynamic page-by-page displays and blocks. And then we took a quick look at the REST First initiative created by Drupal in order to port data out of Drupal instead of in. In the next section, we're now going to take a look at Drupal 8 themes and how we can change the way that our website looks.